Hello, hello. Here I am again, back with my bullshit. I gotta be. Hello, hope everybody's doing okay. Alright, today I am again drawing my baby girl. Just picking up where we left off. Not exactly where I left off last time. I did finish off the first one in the meantime. I'll just do a wee little show off. I think I didn't finish the clothing and the hair last time. So here's the grippers. Very simple, very mindful. And yeah, I'm probably gonna leave this one as it is, and the only thing I'm gonna be adding is the tattoos once I figure them out. And I have a pretty good idea what I'm gonna do. I started sketching it. However, the more I think about her tattoos and plan them out, I don't think I'll be allowed to actually draw them on YouTube. So I might just drop them randomly on Twitter at some point whenever I get to finish them. But yeah, the more I think about them, probably not gonna be able to stream that part. And hi Mimi and Mero, hi, hello, thanks for dropping in. How are you guys doing? I myself finished work a little bit earlier today, or I guess to be fair, we started a lot earlier, so they let us go. So I had some time to relax and chill out before starting stream, and I say that very loosely. I was just running around and thinking, oh, what should I do? What am I supposed to do? I was kind of going around the apartment a bit like a Roomba, set on autopilot, because as soon as I know that I have something scheduled, something I'm gonna have to do, I just, it's not exactly freeze, but it's really hard to actually start doing something else. So I felt like I had to force myself to just keep moving, otherwise I was gonna freeze in place and just sit staring at my screen and waiting to start the stream. But I feel like that sometimes. That's what I tell myself. Atukiko, hello, thank you also for coming in. This is exactly how I imagine Voxanne to be from the vibe. Oh yeah, chill. I love it. I mentioned this the other day, but the girl needs to have range. I feel like the girl bossing is amazing, but we need more. I need more of her. And we were talking also about, what other versions of her should I do? We came up with a lot. I was keeping notes for once. Yeah, we got some good ideas. I do want to make versions like every single version that Vox himself has, I want to make for her, like 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Hey, just to make them equal, I guess. But yeah, I think she deserves all of the other outfits. Mero, I'm good. I had sushi. Oh, sushi last night. Man, I'm jealous. I have been craving it for days, but since it's the end of the month, I'm a little bit, I have to save. We spent a lot of money on new furniture. So yeah, any cravings like that, I'm like, man. But I hope you enjoyed it, and good luck at work. Still, thanks for dropping in, even if it's for a little bit. I'm probably gonna keep this short. I was actually looking forward to this being a longer stream, because I finished early, so I still have a lot of energy. But then I realized that we have workers coming in tomorrow to bring in some furniture, and I need to clean the place up. So we'll see. we'll see how it goes. Maybe I can squeeze in a couple of hours. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe I just focus on doing one thing, like doing line art only. Coloring usually slows me down, so I could maybe line them all, and then the next time I'm like coloring. Because repetitive tasks just fill me with joy. I feel like that's what I work best with. Oh, hi, Emmy. Hello. Thank you also for coming in. Voxanne too. Yeah. Yeah, I still have screenshots from their Sims. I think it was the second time he was making them. I am keeping those. I want to do her outfits as well. There is something about Voxanne that feels like it's missing. I did see a friend mention, I think today, that one thing that Voxanne is missing, even though, you know, she's really girl pop, girl slay, now girl fail too, but we don't really know much about her in terms of like story. Is she the same as Vox? Like literally everything's the same and then just, you know, gender bent? Or does she have a story of her own? You know, we're not really clear on that. Like, what is her actual lore? And then I feel like that is even more true for Voxanne. We really rarely get any, you know, tidbits and crumbs about Voxanne, so I feel like she deserves more. Let's see, maybe I can do something. I'm probably again gonna change her to just fit my own liking, because I'm selfish like that. But honestly, if anybody has any headcanons, anything they, you know, would like to see with her, like, let me know. Usually my head's a bit slow with coming up with ideas. And I genuinely do like to hear other people's headcanons for different characters. Because it's usually stuff that I myself wouldn't even think of or start to think of. So I really like to hear them and then just like, if I can't think them up myself, like I can at least make other people's wishes come true, or like their headcanons for what they want to see. So yeah. I like that they're kind of blank slates for fanfic and interpretation. Oh yeah, that's also a good point. I feel like with Voxanne, the best thing that I see her for is, I guess to some extent, a bit like I'm not sure if like self-insert is too accurate to what I mean, but you know, like just giving Vox a female partner in any sense of the word, let's say. Yeah, it feels nice. I don't know. Like on one hand, I like that both of them really can be just whatever we like. But then on the other, I also kind of wish they had a little bit something more going on. Like for example, with Box, it's building up to be a lot more than just like an alternative version of him. Like there's gonna be a lot more lore, but I feel like he's still fairly open to be whatever we want to play. I lost my thought, but yeah, he can still kind of be shaped into a lot of different things that we like. I feel something like that would be nice for the girls too. Maybe something like, you know, official lore, keep it vague, and then we can play around with that even more. Maybe something along those lines. So self-insert, that's why I like her, yeah. Yeah, it can help, really. Like, as much as I like my yaoi ships, like, a lot, I also like to see him, you know, with a girly from time to time, and Voxanne is just perfect for it. I think for that kind of self-insert concept, my headcanon for her is that she's just a kindred who can, ooh, shapeshift, and is a Vox skinny, so she becomes Vox. Ooh, that's interesting. It's very interesting. Huh. Now I'm gonna think about that for a while, thanks. I like the idea. I feel like that, for one part that, and then for the other, I like to just kind of imagine them as roommates, you know? And they were roommates. But yeah, they're just kind of living together, and, you know, if they get down to it, they do. Kind of like, not really committed, but, you know, hey, if they're there, might as well. You know, something like that. But that's why there's so many iterations of her, because there are different kindred who shapeshift into her and give her their own spin. Yeah. What if... Oh. What if I kind of play off on that and make her a little bit, not freaky, creepy? Could she be something like, not really a monster, but a creature of some kind? Like, something like this could be what she usually presents herself as, but like truly, at the very core of her being, she's kind of like just a, what would be the good word for it? I can't really think of anything other than creature. What if her name was Freaksan and she was a freak? Oh my god. Ah, who would have thought? But yeah, she could technically just be a shape-shifting demon, and the true form is just not human at all, or human looking at all. Maybe. Oh please, come on. That could be fun. And then whenever Vox is like, oh, can anybody match my freak? And she actually can. Maybe even outmatch it. That'd be fun. Usually we depict Voxanne as like, how do you put it? We always kind of depict her as a human. I've rarely ever seen any art of her as an actual demon. And if she's Vox's counterpart or just gender bend, I feel like we need more of that. She needs to be creepier. Real? Yeah. Yeah. I wanna do that. Wait. I again need to write it down. I think it was yeah. Demon 4. There we go. Cool. Okay. It's the mobile race female orc has to be hot syndrome. I feel like I did not understand that sentence. I'm so sorry. Wait. Well, let me read it again. It's the mobile race female orc has to be. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Finally processed it. Sorry. But yeah, it's like usually it's not even, I think, in MOBAs, just the majority of games, even if they're supposed to be a, whether it's an orc, demon, or whatever non-humanoid race, it's like, still needs to be hot. We need to fix that. Make the girlies creepy. The female version of scary thing has to be hot and sexy, pretty instead. Yep. Yeah, every single time. And the funny thing is, I already have an idea for a meme to draw, but I first need to actually think of what her freaky design will be. Like, the meme is there before the actual design. Well played. Okay, more grippers yet again. My apologies. I said it in the worst way possible. I meant like fantasy race. Yeah. It's, you said it properly. It just took me a second to actually process. It happens more often than I sometimes let on. I'll just let people talk, even though I did not understand them. So I'll try to hang on to, you know, whatever they're still talking about and nodding my head, while in the background I'm still processing like what they said 5 minutes ago. Although sometimes it is very much obvious, but you know, we try our best in this house. Of course, I'm usually not just gonna stop and ask them, hey buddy, what the hell did you mean? Can you repeat the sentence from 20 minutes ago, please? I'm still stuck there. It's rough having audio processing issues. Yeah, I'm genuinely trying my best all the time to just play it cool, but it's tough out here. I mean, if anything, I'm just grateful that for most people in my life, they're kind of used to it. Like, even if I'm trying my best, I guess it kind of well, I both surrounded myself and was lucky enough to be surrounded with very patient people, at least the ones closest to me. So they kind of know that if I ask them again, it wasn't because, oh, I don't care, I wasn't paying attention. They just know I'm a little bit slow sometimes, and they're like, yeah, it's chill. And honestly, bless them for it. Whoops. In other news, it's been about 2.5 weeks since we moved to the new apartment, and that's also 2.5 weeks that since we didn't order a bed on time, and that's on me. We've been just sleeping on an air mattress, and I was kind of dreading it at first because I thought, oh, it's gonna be like as if we're camping in our own apartment, and oh, we're gonna be too close to the floor, it's gonna be uncomfortable, whatever. But honestly, I don't remember the last time I've gotten this much good sleep. Like, air mattresses are severely underrated. I'm still amazed at how comfy it is. Like, at the last place where we were, we had like a, proper bed, proper everything. Maybe it was because it was old. Well, not maybe, but for sure. But I was waking up like all of my bones were broken on that bed. Male living space? Yeah, quite literally. We moved into this apartment with only our PC desks, and pretty much that's it. Like, we had nothing else of furniture, and we walked into this empty apartment. I mean, it only had the kitchen and bathroom installed. So at least for that, of course, we're good, but otherwise completely empty. So yeah, the apartment for the last 2 weeks has just been the computer desks, okay, chairs, and yeah, the air mattress. Nothing else. I gotta say, it has been a little bit nice. There's less to clean at the very least. No furniture, yeah. Yeah, I feel for Rosemi this time. I get it, I get her. Although, not really Hazukashi, because, as I mentioned, like, there's... Oh, no, never mind. I was gonna say there's a lot less clutter, but actually all of our stuff has been in, like, those compression bags for clothes. So that was a little bit tricky, but we're managing. Tomorrow we're finally gonna be getting our sofa and I almost said fridge. Our wardrobe delivered, so should be more comfy starting tomorrow. Although the workers will be coming in while I'm in the middle of my shift, so pray for me. I'm gonna be managing both. Yeah, we move into a new apartment, yay. Yeah, it was about time. Good luck, thank you. Thank you, I'm very much going to need it. But if anything, at least starting tomorrow, there will be no more sleeping on this mattress that we have, which, as comfy as it is, when we first fall asleep on it, like, it takes me no longer than 10-15 minutes to fall asleep. We wake up basically on the floor. Unfortunately, it just loses all of the majority of the air overnight. So that part has been not great. All thanks to my cat, my lovely baby, who loves to sneak in under the covers, and I'm guessing she just nicked it somewhere. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, like, the mattress did its time. And now we move. Gotta get ready for work, I'll catch you later. DM me the progress you made when you finished. Yeah, will do. I'm fingers crossed I don't forget, but yeah, still, thank you for coming in. Even though you have work soon, and also good luck to you at work. I hope it's gonna be a chill day for you. Yeah, clothing folds my beloved. I never plan these out ahead, so every single time I just think to myself, oh yeah, future me is gonna figure it out, and then I don't. And then I draw, you know, whatever, just to have them, and I'm still, like, I get to the liner process, and I'm still thinking to myself, oh yeah, future me is gonna fix that with shading. No, I'm fucking not. And then it's time to color, and I just want to not exist anymore. So don't be like me, plan ahead. Because I feel like struggling with shading is the worst part. For me at least. And now I'm going to do it again. I don't know what to do with the folds there, so fuck it, I'm leaving it. I could properly call myself out, thinking that, oh, okay, so now that I've said it out loud, I'm not gonna do it again. And then I do it again. Genius. What do you think about it? I think one of my New Year's resolutions for this year was actually to stream more. And I did try a couple of times a few months back, but I got too nervous about it. I started streaming on Twitch, and I don't know, it felt so unfamiliar and kind of scary, honestly. Because there's so much to do, and on one hand it's really cool that there's so many options, but on the other hand I am overwhelmed. Like, I'm not that old, but I felt like I am, and it was constantly just, oh, you should do, you know, XYZ to make it look, to make your streams look better, to make your page look better. You know, you need to be putting in a lot more effort and preparing a lot more, so I felt, I mean, I honestly felt kind of intimidated. I did have a friend with me for basically all of the streams, so that was a great comfort. You know, because as soon as I'm left alone, or really even in company, I don't really talk a lot. I don't know, it feels like every single thought that I had throughout the day just kind of vanishes as soon as it's actually my turn to speak. And I was kind of scared of, you know, going live by myself. I kind of winged it earlier this week. I just caught myself, you know, making up excuses, basically. I was thinking, okay, well, I finally have my PNG, and then first I wanted to make it myself. I made so many PNGs, like unnecessarily, kind of, because I was never satisfied. I always thought, oh no, I want to go for a different vibe. I want to make this or that. And then I kept making new ones, thinking I was going to be satisfied at some point. And spoiler, I was not. Every single time I thought, nah, that doesn't work. I want something better. Like, I have to make something better or more appealing. So I kept redoing it, and once I realized just how much time has passed and how much time I've wasted on just that, you know, I figured, okay, let me commission somebody else to do it. And at first I also wanted to do, again, I got stuck in thinking, oh, I should have a proper, you know, live 2D model. Like, I need to save money. And I was thinking that, again, for a while. I was looking for maybe cheaper options, or thinking, okay, I'm just gonna make the model myself and have somebody rig it, which I did start, actually. I made really a good chunk for a model by myself. I only got caught up in the details because I wasn't too sure about the technicalities, you know, of how to make a model. And I was looking up tutorials, but I was also kind of just tired. So that was taking way too long. And again, I realized, okay, so you are once more just wasting time. Like, you said that your resolution for this year was just to start streaming, and here we go, more than half the year has passed and you have not really done it. So yeah, I just ended up commissioning Kuju, and I'm guessing probably most people here, like from the community, know them. I just really like their chibis, and I thought, you know what? I think that would be very nice. I did retweet what they made. So both this one that I'm using, and I have one more that I'm gonna use if I ever play some games or if I'm just chatting. You know, I figured I should have a variation for when I'm drawing and when I'm doing something different. Figured that would be fun. So yeah, Kuju made 2 of them, and it was honestly such a relief after beating myself up for not doing everything myself. Yeah, there was also this kind of pressure that, oh, you know, I'm an artist, I should be able to create everything myself. Or yeah, it's not really, oh, it would be cool to do everything myself. I mean, there was that, but it wasn't that wasn't really the main thing. I was kind of just guilting myself into thinking, oh, you should be capable to do it all. And yeah, that's how that went. So I'm glad that in the end I could just let go of that mindset. I don't want to say really I asked somebody for help because it was a commission, but you know, let's call it kind of like getting help in a way. So I'm really glad I did. And then, you know, the next thing was, oh, you need to create an overlay. You know, let's make it something cool, make it interesting, make it, you know, look like you. And I was, again, really stuck there. Yeah, and I thought, okay, let's look for people to commission for the overlay. You know, graphic design is not your passion. I had some attempts that weren't great, and I thought, oh, and I again got stuck in the same mindset of, oh, you're an artist, you should be able to do it yourself once more. And then I just realized, okay, it does not need to be detailed or complicated. Give me 1 second. But yeah, I kind of tripped up over that as well until I realized, yeah, let's keep it simple, like as simple as possible. Maybe just a tiny little bit of spice. And then, like, lastly, I was just like, okay, you know, if Twitch is intimidating, go to YouTube. You see other people streaming there. It's a lot more simple. You're used to it. It's comfortable. You know, you don't have to force yourself to go onto Twitch. Because again, I thought, well, a lot of indies are over there. That's, I guess, the default streaming platform nowadays. But yeah, in the end, just figured, you know, maybe I should abandon the shoulda, woulda, coulda mindset, the, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, or should be following this and that idea, or whatever. But yeah, back on Monday, when the first stream happened, I just figured, you know what? I have procrastinated long enough. It is time to ball. So here we are now. And honestly, I'm glad I did it. I was extremely nervous beforehand. I felt very shaky, very unprepared. I was, honest to God, I was watching a tutorial on how to go live on YouTube, or let's say rewatching it, like 2 minutes before I went live. I needed to like be not 100, just 1000% sure that I was doing it correctly. Because, oh, how embarrassing would it be if I tweet that I'm going live and then it just doesn't start? That would be quite the show. But yeah, I'm glad to say I'm feeling pretty comfortable. Like, I still get nervous, but it's less compared to the first time. And yeah, surprised myself with being able to talk on my own. And of course, there's you guys in chat, which I really appreciate. It was so lively the first time that I could barely keep up, but it was fun. And even now, I feel like, yeah, even though I'm mostly on my own, I'm having lots of fun. I'm surprising myself with you know, it's gonna sound stupid, but like actually having thoughts in my head that I can say out loud. I don't know, feels kind of funny. But yeah, surprisingly I can yap. Ooh. Which I'm happy about. So I would say, since I was kind of late to fulfill the resolution to stream more, which I'm very determined to fill out now, even though there's like a month and a little bit over before the year ends. Since I do feel comfortable streaming at this point, at least more compared to before, I would say the next resolution before the end of the year will be to, I'm not sure if it's going to be possible to like do it completely, but to lose the nervousness. As I mentioned before the stream even started, like I had 3 hours in between when my shift ended and between when the stream is supposed to start. And still, again, I felt like a Roomba on autopilot, just waiting for the stream to happen, and I had to force myself so hard to just go and do the things that I need to do before the stream. So I feel like in the month that I have left over of the year, I really want to try and lose that as much as possible. Yeah, just try and be, if not fully comfortable, at least not as jittery as it was at first. I think that would be a fairly realistic goal to have. It feels a little bit bad that, you know, I waited an entire, well, not entire, but majority of the year to actually get started. But I don't want to also get caught up in, you know, being mean to myself and telling myself, oh, you should have started sooner, you should have done it earlier, because really I wanted to start streaming for like genuinely almost 3 years now. I wanted to start a long time ago. And you know, I could technically just keep beating myself up for not doing it earlier and for, let's say, quote unquote, wasting time. Which is the thought that often crosses my mind, but I keep reminding myself, you know, that is in the past. I cannot go back, I cannot change it, and these thoughts are not productive in the least, like in any way, shape, or form. So I try to at least tell myself, okay, well, now you did start. Like, even when you got scared, or, you know, even when you scheduled the stream but then got nervous and wanted to cancel it, you know, but you didn't. Well, here we are. So I can, at the very least, tell myself, okay, you're doing a good job there. And it helps. I feel like there's a time for critique, and it's most definitely necessary if I want to improve in any way, shape, or form, but I also have to give myself credit, like where it's due. Otherwise, what's the point of doing all this if I'm just gonna be mean to myself at the end? So yeah. Not sure if others have the same thought process, but you know, I feel like I should give myself a bit of a treat for working on what I needed. Okay, give me 1 second. I am gonna be right back. Let's like that. Back. There we go. Nice. I'm surprised I'm going at this pretty quickly at this point. I hope I didn't just jinx myself and now it takes me forever to finish it. We'll see. Kika, hello my baby. Hello, thank you for dropping in. What are you doing? Did you finish up with the class for today? There we go. What are you up to? You're still in class? Oh my god. Sneaky. Please don't let me distract you. I was saying that it might be a short stream but this is going so kind of smoothly. I don't really want to stop at this point, so please focus on class. I'm very likely gonna be here once you finish. Like, I don't wanna drag you down, please. Although I'm happy that you came. But still, focus. Man, I was doing a whole song and dance about how proud I am of myself for actually being able to talk when I'm on my own. And then, as soon as I finished that, brain empty. I had a feeling that I would just jinx myself, but man, I hoped that my brain would give me at least a little bit more time. Like a little bit more brain power. But it is what it is. I do wonder though if it happens to other people, or like constantly throughout the day you have a whole bunch of thoughts going on in your head, but as soon as it's time to talk, it's like empty. Like, it feels like I've never had a single thought in my entire life. I don't even know if I can like blame it on nervousness or anything like that, but there has to be something with it. Oh, Happy, hello! Hello, thanks for coming in. What are you doing? What are you up to? I was yapping until recently, and I completely ran out of ideas. So went a bit silent mode. But hi, how are you? What have you been up to? Lovely Voxanne's here? Yeah, thank you. I wanted to make a couple of them. Just a couple for now. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be changing up well, not probably, but definitely gonna be changing this one on the right. I really like these types of blazers, but I don't think it's really working with the white and red. Might be better if it was single color, but then I would be missing out a lot of red on that one, especially because I wanted it to kind of be her own version of Vox's main model, the 1.0. So yeah, I'm gonna rework that one a little bit, but otherwise, yeah, quite happy with these. We did also talk about a lot more variations for her. I was noting them down, and slowly, very slowly but surely, I'm gonna be going through them and just adding more onto her. And I was thinking, like, yeah, they could be one-off illustrations, but I also feel like it would be really funny if I just put all of that into her reference sheet. Just have a sheet with like 20-30 different kinds of Voxanne all in one place. Because why not? Doing good, was mostly lurking until now. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that too. Like, lurkers are always welcome and really appreciated. Yeah, especially if, you know, if you're having me just yap in the background, I'm like, oh my god, somebody wants to listen to what the hell I'm talking about? Yippee! I'm but a simple creature. Kika, you're free, hell yeah! I hope it was at least a fun class. I know you mentioned last time that you had a good teacher, but yeah. I'm not sure if this ever really happens, but is it the same teacher the whole time? Or do you have maybe like a different people explaining different parts of the course? Because if it's the one cool teacher the entire time, honestly that's the best. I had a different had cases where I had different teachers for different parts of a course, and how do you put it? It's a bit of a gamble sometimes. Like I would just miss the cool one and suffer through the other. I'm stalling because my dad was calling me. I pretend I haven't finished. That is so real. I felt it. Love that way up. Yeah. Thank you. The teachers are so cool. And I made my terminal to code super girly pop. You're gonna have to show me that. Like, just go into my DMs or Discord. Let me see. I only saw the little baby shoe cursor, but I always like to see when people customize their own stuff. No, we only had the cool dude for a week. No, now we have another teacher for a specific part and then another one, but so far I've been lucky. Okay, at least that's good to hear. You know, even if they're changing, if they're all cool, that really does work out then. Like, that's major lucky right there. Hey, show, wait, let me see. Oh my god, I love the colors! Oh, that's so cute. Ah, girly pop indeed. I love that. I wish I knew that when I was still at least somewhat doing coding myself. I mean, it was back in high school, but... And I did have fun with it. Shout out to my great teacher for explaining everything so well, so it was easy to follow. But I feel like knowing how to customize it would have made it even more fun for me. Again, I'm a simple creature. I see fun colors, I'm like, yippee! These are the simpler parts, so I hope the ones that show us the things that are actually complicated are also cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Uh, the interesting thing that our professor did, and at first I was like, oh my god, this is a drag, but I'm so grateful that she did do this, is when we were starting out, basically the first half of the school year, like now that I think about it, it wasn't even like the first month or something like that, it was genuinely the first half of the school year. We would write all of our code and algorithms in our notebooks. So it was like you wouldn't have any kind of shortcut. You wouldn't be able to copy and paste anything. You have to physically write every part of the code or algorithm like completely manually. And every single time you had to write it, which was honestly amazing looking back at it now, because I, for one, never forgot any part of it that way. Like, it was just built into me. And honestly, that worked great for my slow ass brain. So I am super grateful for her. She really did great with explaining everything. The one thing that I don't understand, however, is how did we, as an, like, I'm not sure how it's in different countries. Over here, when you get to high school, or I guess this is fairly similar for most of Europe. I don't know anything outside, but still, when you get to high school level, you get to choose like what field you want to go into. And I went into like computers, programming, like administrative stuff, I guess. The whole what would they call it? Not really course, but fuck it, let's call it like the course that I chose for my high school was just networking administrator, and that's what I did. And in the 4 years that we had, programming only showed up for 1 year as an elective, which I thought was kind of insane. Like, that's the one thing I was expecting to learn the most over in that school, and it was just like, yeah, here if you choose it. And the one thing I'm still mad about to this day, I'm never forgiving my classmates for this, we had it as an elective in our 3rd year, and I loved it. Again, had so much fun, learned a lot. And then come 4th year, again, we get it as an elective, and I, without a second thought, I went for programming. And I think I was one of the 2 or 3 people that chose it. Everybody else apparently just did not like it, which is insane to me. Like, that is the one thing you came to learn at this school, and you're skipping out on it because apparently it was hard. And I'm like, dude, this is potentially the most important thing you're gonna learn here. How do you go and skip on it? But yeah, in the end we didn't have it. Instead, like, I think every single one of us had to go to I think it was like sociology or something like that. Something completely unnecessary for us. Like, genuinely, I'm still so mad. I could have learned a lot more from that professor, and I'm salty about it still. Like, maybe if I had another year, I might have stuck with it more. But at this point, I've forgotten a lot of things. Like, I could read somebody else's code and kind of understand what's going on, but coding by myself, like from scratch, nah, can't do it. That's so useful for learning it from memory since there's so many. Yeah, exactly. Like it was like burned into my memory and it was great. Honestly, if like I would recommend it if you have some exercises that you need to do, like say homework or anything, try writing it out in a notebook. Like first in a notebook or even after you finish it on your PC, and maybe you could do it as a refresher later in your notebook, but it's genuinely really good. I mean, I guess different people learn in different ways. To be fair, I don't want to say like it's guaranteed to work for everybody, but it was a lifesaver for me. And it was also fun. I like the feeling of just physically writing something. So that was like a win-win for me. So yeah, highly recommend. We only have super broad stuff to choose. It's either science, history, and social studies, art, music, or theater. Yeah, it was. Ah, you mean like you mean for electives or for like school directions in general? I've been writing out all the commands and what they do as they show them to us, but not full in code. I'll try that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, writing anything down still helps a lot. I'm guessing you might also be that kind of learner, but just keeping notes and like, even if I never look at them again, just having that memory of writing it down physically, it helps out a whole lot. I mean, I gotta think about it. I did, especially in like elementary school, grade school, a lot of the times I would just write a whole lot in class, never read my notes, but I just knew what I needed to know without actually studying again or reviewing the notes. I just didn't need to. I mean, to be fair, it was elementary school, so everything was much simpler, but still, that's at least how much notes worked for me, and still do. The last 2 years of high school, you went into a specific class depending on what you chose, and it had the different selectives. Yay! Got it. I guess then, yeah, it's a little bit different compared to ours. Over here, so like elementary and I guess middle school is what some would call it, so ages from 7 until 14, like all of that for us is called just grade school or elementary school. So those kind of go together, you're always in the same place, and that doesn't change. And in those cases, it's pretty much the same for everybody. You get a couple of elective classes, but it was like I think it was like between religion and social studies, funnily enough. I tried out both. Religion was not my thing. Like I went for 1 year because again the majority of the class chose it, so I couldn't be the only one in social studies. Not the only one. We couldn't have like 3 kids in one elective. They didn't really want to do that. But after that, I think the majority of the class just went to social studies. It was a lot more fun. But then, then you get to high school level, and at that point you get to choose a lot more. We do have a couple of options that I'm actually not sure how to translate properly. Let me think about it. We would call it just gymnasia. It's not really, I don't know the English word. I'm gonna give up on it, but it's basically, you don't really get any new subjects. I mean, you do, but they're also kind of like general. You get Latin for some reason. It's basically upgraded grade school. That's basically what it comes down to. And the way that I see it, it's for people that want to go to university, but they have no idea what they want to do yet. So they're kind of stalling for more time, you know, because if you go to a, let's call it specialty school, you know, it kind of pushes you in the direction of what your university is going to be. Of course, you can switch, like you could go to school for to high school for, let's say, you know, design, and then go to college for, I don't know, languages or programming or anything like that. Technically you can, but it will be a lot easier if your high school and university match. You know, you will just be a lot better prepared for the exams if you're already familiar with the topics. But yeah, so there's those kinds, and then you can also choose to go, let's call it that way, to a specialty school where you choose a specific topic that you want. So it can be, let's say, electrotechnical school, and then within that you also get to choose what you want to focus on. So for example, there's going to be, for example, networking administrator, which is what I did. Then you could focus more on just, I don't know, hardware stuff, or focus more on programming, or maybe, you know, electronics that are completely unrelated to computers. You know, there's like, I think we had like 6 or 7 different classes depending on the course that different kids took. So you get quite a lot of choices. And the same goes, you know, for design, art schools of any kind, culinary school, like travel school, sports school, basically whatever comes to mind, we have it. And then within that broad topic, you also get to choose a more specific class for what you want to do, which on one hand is cool, but on the other, when you're a kid, if you don't know what you want to do, it might be a little bit much, because making decisions, it feels like they will dictate your entire life. It really does feel like a lot of pressure, especially if, let's say, your parents force you to go in a certain direction. Like, a lot of kids get roped into going to medical school, for example, even if they're not interested, but they're like, oh, my parents told me to, you know? In my case, my dad, who is a programmer himself, convinced me, didn't really force me, but he made programming sound so cool, like so great. It would be great to be a girl who can do that. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So I listened to him and I went to that school. Didn't have a great time, actually. The first 2 years were so hard. Like, for one, because I was not interested in the topic. Like, once I started going to classes, I realized, bro, I don't give a shit about any of this. I realized just how much that was not my field. Like, I just wanted to draw. Like, I am interested in a couple more things at this point, but at that time, in my teenage years, I just wanted to draw and nothing else. And for the second reason is that I was the only girl in yeah, the only girl in my class, and one of 3 girls in that entire school year. Like in that grade, there were two other girls in different classes than me, and even then, I didn't really want to approach them. They seemed a little bit strange, let's call it that. And then for the first 2 years, the guys in my class also didn't want to like approach me. I guess they were shy, I don't know. Didn't want to hang out with a girl, whatever. It took them 2 years to realize I am no monster. I'm just a chill dude. So they basically accepted me after 2 years as one of their own. I still remember, I think that was in 3rd or 4th year. I think it was 3rd year. we were left alone in the classroom. The teacher had to go out and get something. And that was the first time that there were more than 10 girls in the first year. For some reason, a lot of them signed up for that school, and we were chilling in the classroom, and the first years had a combined PE class outside. So of course there was like 6 or 7 girls running around outside, and one of the guys with a straight face goes, "Fucking finally, a girl to look at." And I'm standing behind him like, "Buddy, what the hell am I?" But like, I understood it. I didn't really carry myself all that femininely. I feel like I still don't, but I still remember that moment actually pretty fondly. And I was like, "Sorry man, like, you know what I mean." I was like, "Yeah, sure." That was fun. Sorry, I went off on a complete rant. Religion class here is always the napping class, and I've never taken it. Yeah, that's kind of what it turned into. Even for us, like, every single time at the start of the class, we would, say a prayer all together, and then, just the teacher would talk about anything, and some folks would pretend to listen and take notes. Most of us were just sleeping it away because we really did not care. Like, the only time we would actually pay attention is if there was like a project to do. If we could actually create something of any kind. Like, at that point, we don't even care about the topic anymore, so long as it wasn't just, listening about that stuff, but actually doing something ourselves. Then we would like wake up. But otherwise, yeah, that was the that was the nap class. Interlin, hello. Oh wait, I missed one. Wait. Man, I hate when you go to study something and it sucks. It happened to me with art school. Oh god. I'm so sorry. I was honestly also a little bit concerned about going to like an art university myself, because at high school I really wanted to go because that's what I was interested in. But then when I got to university level and I was looking up what classes they actually had there, and I just remember thinking, man, this would be a waste of time. Like, I would not enjoy this. Maybe there was like 1 or 2 classes I could take which seemed fun, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start working. I'm not gonna potentially waste time on something that I thought was fun but turns out most likely I'm not going to enjoy. And that's how I've been working ever since. But yeah, it really sucks if you had certain expectations and then it just turns out like it's absolutely not what you thought. It's always kind of hurts, honestly, because you go in there full of hope and looking forward to it, and it just kind of gets slammed down by what it actually is. I mean, Netherlands. Programming is one of the hardest things to learn. It's like learning new languages, but it changes every few years. Yeah. Yeah. For me, it was fun. We learned a couple of languages. I'm trying to remember actually. I think it was like oh god, now it's been so long, I can't even remember their names properly. I think it was like C plus, C sharp, something like that. And we also did JavaScript. We did like 2 or 3 of them. We had a separate class for HTML, but like, come on, that was easy. But yeah, it does get tricky. And I remember watching my dad take a full like 2-week vacation from work just to learn a programming language. I remember when was I don't know, it was like 10 years ago, maybe that was too long, but a couple years back when I think it was PHP, it was really taking off, and my dad was like, okay, this is the future, I don't know it, I need to learn it. And the guy just bought one of the heaviest books I ever held in my hands and, you know, took a 2-week vacation from work, like basically all of the vacation that he had for that year, and just spent it learning that book. And at the end of it, he was like, yep, okay, I got it, let's go. But I feel like he's in a league of his own, because from the last time that I asked him, and again, this was years and years back, I asked him like, hey, how many languages do you actually know? Like, I know you're smart, but how many? Give me a number. And he was like, man, I don't know, like 25? And I just stood there shocked, like, buddy, how do you have so much space in your head? What? I was, and I am, like, amazed to this day. I feel like he might have some kind of either ADHD or something to focus that hard on I don't know, I don't get it, but still amazed at what his head can hold. Like, I realized they only like drawing for me and as a hobby, not doing requests or works that were outside of my style or comfort zone, and that sucks, but no sweats. Yeah, I felt that again. If I'm requested to draw in a certain style that is not something I enjoy, like sometimes it can be fun, you know, it just turns out and happens to be really interesting. I'm like, yeah, okay, that was cool, but most of the times, yeah, just let me draw for myself, let me do what I want, and I'll be happy. I have a kind of weird relationship with commissions, for example, where I did them for so long. The first time I started doing commissions was at age 15. Yeah, it was the summer break from school when I was 15, before I started going to high school. And ever since then, until I was like 20 something, I think, I basically always had something in my queue. Or on my waiting list. Just, I always had them on. You know, sometimes money was tight, sometimes I wanted, you know, extra allowance to buy myself something. And then after a while, for example, even after I got a proper full-time job and started working, like I had my own money to spend, I didn't have to do commissions. But at that point, I was so used to doing them that I just couldn't stop. And like the second I would finish everything that I owed, I would get this itch to, you know, open them again. I don't know what it was. Like I kind of enjoy delivering them, or you know, just drawing different characters or like different poses. Maybe it felt easier because somebody would tell me exactly what to draw, so I would never get to the point of, oh, I want to draw something but I don't know what, I don't have an idea, you know. And that used to happen and still does happen to me now. You know, I get this urge, oh, I want to draw, but then I sit down and just look at a blank canvas for way too long and then just give up after maybe trying to sketch something once. It doesn't turn out good and I'm like, okay, damn it, day ruined. And like as silly as it sounds, that's kind of where the commissions help, because you know, I have a character, I have a reference, I have the pose, the expression, everything. Like I don't need to think. It was easy. So I kind of relied on them for the longest time. I didn't really do them, I think, in about a year. Well, I'm lying. I had a couple of off the table commissions. Let's call them that. But yeah, like those I'm chill with, but it sometimes happens that, especially recently, maybe it's because I'm older and have less energy. I mean, mid-20s is not old, but you know, no longer a teenager that can run around with like 4 hours of sleep like it's nothing. But I guess as a working adult now, I can't usually deliver as fast as I used to, so the guilt of it kind of catches up. So now I still want to do commissions. Like I really want to be like part of projects or something, like draw for other people. I really want to, but the fear of not being able to complete it fast enough is kind of keeping me at bay at this point. It's kind of contradicting thoughts in my head, but you know, we ball. Your dad's the goat? Yeah. I love him dearly, even though he absolutely failed when he tried to teach me. But to be fair, he tried to teach me when I was in like well, yeah, I did start elementary school, but I was very young. Like between 10 and 12. I was just not interested in that at all, whatsoever. And he genuinely tried to teach me, but he gave me too much information and I couldn't keep up. So that failed. But yeah, his brain is something else, that's for sure. It takes some of the stress off of the concept, definitely. Having clear instructions and seeing someone happy with what you made is addicting in a way. Yes, exactly. Like, again, I don't need to think. I'm told what to do. I can just happily go and create whatever somebody wanted. And then yeah, seeing them happy afterwards is a lovely feeling. I'm not gonna do this now. I'm gonna struggle with this for a while, so I'm gonna leave that there. Alright. Did I miss anything? No, feels good. Commissions made me so anxious because what if bad? No. Yeah, I mean, Because of that, I had a funny thing happen where, well, funny, questionable if funny, but I would make examples for the kinds of commissions I was offering, and then that fear of, oh my god, what if it's bad, what if it's not good enough, made me put in like almost double the effort compared to the examples. Because I really didn't want to like disappoint the commissioner, even though they had a perfectly clear view of what to expect, what the commission is supposed to be. I would still get anxious about it and put in extra effort, and it would take me, you know, much longer to complete, and especially, you know, I technically wasn't getting paid for that, for the extra effort. So yeah, I mean, it's no fault of the commissioner, of course, that is 100% on me, but that fear of, oh, what if it's bad, made me push myself a lot harder a lot of the times. But I will say it again. I don't want to yell into the mic, but Hika, please, your art is so nice. I need you to, if not completely stop, if that's too much to ask right off the bat, but at least have a little bit more confidence in myself, in yourself. You do not need to put yourself down like, oh, what if bad? No. What if amazing? What if show-stopping, brilliant, never seen before, you know? Like, you have got to give yourself more credit. Every single time that I see your art, I'm like, yes! Yes, it makes me so genuinely happy to see it. And I can see you improving from every piece that you do. Even if it's just a sketch, I can see more confidence in your lines. I can see when you get more relaxed, you know, and I love to see that growth. And I genuinely do wish I could see you. I mean, I don't want to like force anything, of course. I want you to have fun with whatever you're creating, but I'm genuinely happy to see like, even your sketches. So yeah, I hope you can kind of let go as much as possible of the like stress and anxiety and just, you know, have fun with what you're making. I know there's gonna be good and bad days, of course, but I don't know, just seeing your art makes me happy, so I would like to see you create and draw more. But that's me being selfish, but you know. Control Z instead shaving. Oh, if only, if only. Honestly, it would make life so much easier. Like, I'm not gonna say anything unnecessary now, I have to watch it. But yeah, I wish it worked that way. This is a bit unrelated, but your voice is so lovely. Thank you. Thank you, really. I'm trying my best to relax as I talk. I was listening back to the last stream and even my older ones from a few months back, and I realized I sounded really stiff. 2 days ago I had to be quiet because somebody fell asleep right behind me. So I had to watch my volume a lot and, you know, the nerves and everything, but I am trying to, you know, ease into it a lot more today. But yeah, I'm glad. I'm really glad. I'm hoping to hear that development that I often hear from others, you know, after they stream for, you know, like between their first time and then, you know, streaming a couple months or a year, and you can genuinely feel how much they have relaxed. So I would really like to hear that in my own voice. I am used to talking quite a bit because I needed to talk to customers. I was holding like, just in short, I was holding onboarding sessions for a certain software. So yeah, I would have to talk to them for hours, you know. Okay, to be fair, I would rarely have a full 8-hour shift of just non-stop talking. I could catch breaks on a lot of days, but that was basically it. Just I was first doing support calls, which is, you know, usually shorter ones, but a lot more frequent. And then there was onboardings, which lasted a lot longer, and I had to keep it up. Funnily enough, while I was in support, just for funsies, I wanted to give myself a nickname, right, as an agent, because while, let's like this, at my first job, I didn't use any nickname, and the customers would often confuse my name. Like they would call me Sarah or, you know, something to that extent, Tamara, for example, until one lady called me Karma, and I was like, how did you get that? Am I not saying my name clearly? How did you mix it up that bad? So when I started working support at the in the company where I am currently, I thought, okay, let me give myself a nickname, and it's gonna be a one that is so clear that even if I happen to say it poorly, like, you cannot mix it up. You couldn't possibly, you know? So I went with Alexa, because I feel like it's a pretty easy to understand name. And a lot of the times, maybe once I space out after a couple of hours at work, I kind of went maybe a little bit more monotone or really deep dive into the customer service voice. And, you know, I would go like, hello, thank you for calling XYZ company, Alexa speaking, how can I help? Something like that. I kind of lost the intonation, but I have had multiple people, actually so many of them, being like, oh, what the hell, are you human? Like, are you an actual Alexa? And I was like, bruh, no, I am very much real. There was one client, God bless his heart, he heard me and just instantly went, transfer me to support. And I was like, sir, I am support. I was like, oh fuck, you're real, sorry. Oh, good times. But yeah, I'm glad. Usually when I go back to listen to my own VODs, I'm like, oh, I sound really dead, or maybe really nasally, maybe quiet, you know. I can find all of these faults in my own voice, but oh, that's the wrong layer. Oh, god damn it. Man. Oh well. But yeah, even though I can find a lot of faults in my own voice, I'm glad it's pleasant to listen. He makes me happy. He can never cry. Yes! I love you! I have to do it for him. Vox printed on my PC. I'm gonna change it for do it for Tao. Yes. Like, if not for Shu, if not for like an Oshi, not for something like do it for Tao. because I am actually going to spam you every once in a while and be like, Hika, can I see your art? Did you draw any gays today? Did you draw our baby boys? Can I see? Any queefway for today? I should not have said it that way, that sounds very bad, but yeah. I want to see you draw, like, whether it's OCs or fan art, anything. I'm just like, feed me, please. The Ubu voice slipped. Yeah. Like, I'm okay with the Ubu voice, like, fine, for jokes and whatever, fine. But saying Keyfree as, you know, key... How did I say it? I said it like queef, which... it was not my intention. That's on me. The ooh voice can be a double-edged sword. You know, some things will sound cute, some things, oh god. Oh well, you live and you learn. I was supposed to separate my layers for the body and hair, and look at me now. Everything together. Lovely. I feel like there was a topic that I mentioned before and got completely sidetracked. I'm stuck with the feeling of, oh man, I forgot to deliver a point that I was on. That also happens, unfortunately, way too many times, where I like start talking about something and I have a point, I know what I want to say, but on the road to getting there, I completely lose it. And then I'm stuck with the feeling of, first, what the hell did I want to say? Like, what was my point? And then sometimes it's like, did I actually get the point across and I just forgot what I was saying? Which one is it? Oh well. I'm probably gonna remember it in like 3 days. So, if I'm lucky and I do remember, I'll have something to talk about on the next stream at least. The music is nice. Yeah, yeah. I think I did link it in the description. It's a really nice and chill playlist. I was nervous about having any music that is copyrighted, so I did the usual copyright-free playlist. And I came across this one. It's so comfy. I really like it. One second. Nice. But yeah, okay, I think I'm definitely just gonna be focusing on line art for today. It'd be nice if I can finish all... Oh, actually the last one won't really work if I want to change the outfit, but I'll see how it goes. Maybe I can change it up on the spot. Perhaps. I'm really not the greatest when it comes to, you know, anything related to fashion. Like, I will recognize things that I like to look at, but, you know, when it's time for me to, you know, come up with anything myself, my head goes completely blank. It's one of the reasons I struggle with picking out my own wardrobe. Especially because there's like so many different styles that I enjoy, and I can't pick between them. And I often make the mistake of, you know, I buy one thing for one style and then another thing for a different style, and only later realize, well, I can't really combine them. And they don't work together, and I have nothing else to style them with, so I'm just left with two pieces of clothing that I can't really do anything with. I'm not sure why, but it really keeps happening to me most of the time. It's stressful. I wish I could, like, I would willingly pay somebody to, like, look at me, look at a couple of things that I like in terms of style, and then also look at my body type and just go shopping with me. Like, they can take over, they can drag me around, I'll try on anything that they tell me to, but like, please take over. Help. Because my mind goes completely blank as soon as I enter a clothing store. I'm not sure how or why it happens, but I don't know. Like, there's so many choices, so many potential combinations, and I don't know. I guess I get overwhelmed. I feel like online shopping would work best for me, honestly, but if I don't get to try on the clothes and see what they'll look like on my body type, it's potentially not gonna go well. It's struggle town out here. But as usual, we ball. Your lines are so crisp, it's chips. Chips squared. Yeah. Thank you. I like keeping it clean. Honestly, it's a lot. Sometimes it feels like the art gets a little bit stiff. That's the one downside of it, I guess. But it makes it really easy to use the magic wand afterwards. Like, if I know that there are no gaps, no, sketchy lines that may bleed through, anything like that, it makes my life so much easier. Because for quite a while, actually, I didn't pay too much attention to my lines, and on one hand, they were a lot more fluid, like relaxed. But then on the other hand, I would have to spend so much time just applying the base colors. And it was fun for a good while, actually. But, what I would have to do is start a new layer, get the base color, and then just, like this, fill in the entire outline manually. It's actually going kind of quick now. But yeah, I would kind of have to do it like that, and then once I fill out the entire shape, then I could finally go in with the bucket tool. But it would genuinely take up a lot of time, and right now I don't have too much of it. Again, I was born to be a feral artist living in a basement, but forced to be a corporate girly. So, I'm trying always to be as quick as possible with my art. I really want to be efficient. So, I guess I kind of built up the habit of, okay, just make the lines as clean as possible right from the start. And then coloring later on gets much easier. Depending on your art program, you can adjust the close gap sensitivity when selecting something, and discovering that has saved so much time for me personally. Yeah, I know of that option. I forget to change it every time. It's similar as to what we mentioned the other time when it comes to writing down ideas, and taking notes, where it's oh, I have an idea, I can't execute it. Well, take a note, but then you forget to take the actual note, and then you forget it. That's kind of me with a lot of these settings in our programs. For example, and this was one I was actually going to mention earlier. In fact, when I was doing these laces, I know that there is a setting here where it will give you what's it called? It will give outlines to your lines. It looks really nice. But I forget where I think I turned it on once a couple years ago, and I was like, okay, hell yeah, now I remember where it is. I'm gonna use this all the time. I did not have a need for it for a while, forgot where it is, and I never wanted to look it up again. Because my brain is telling me, okay, in the time it will take you to, look it up, find it, turn it on, you could just draw it manually. Which is probably not true, to be fair. But that's somehow the way that my brain functions. It's always on time-saving mode. I feel like it's both a curse and a blessing. Because on one hand, yeah, I'm quick, but on the other, I could learn a lot of, useful stuff and techniques if I just chilled out for a second. No, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. It's it feels really silly to say it out loud because it's a problem that is so solvable, so easy to fix, but unfortunately, brain doesn't work like that for whatever reason. But I don't know, I guess I found that one thing, for example, when it comes to taking notes, like while I was streaming, it was so easy. I was just like, maybe it was because it was somebody else's idea and I wanted to respect it, you know, and show that, okay, it's not something I'm just gonna forget later. I want to give it importance because, you know, at this point, it's not just me, it's, you know, somebody else put in their thought, their imaginations into it. You know, in a way, it's their effort. And I think to myself, okay, well, I want to respect that. And then I can take the note. Which is so many extra steps. But, I mean, extra steps as in, I could just maybe respect myself for once. Respect my own ideas enough to write them down. But yeah, I guess that doesn't really happen with me. But I guess also, to be fair, I never really thought about it until now. I didn't really think of it that way. So maybe it changes now that I've, how do you put it? Now that I've become aware of what is it that gets me going. And if I can tell myself, bro, respect yourself, please. And I'll be like, yeah. We'll see. The topic of commissions was spoken on a bit ago, and for research purposes, when might you be opening commissions again? I have been thinking about it for so long. Actually, it has been months since I wanted to open again. Like, I was kind of holding back because of the whole, the last couple of times my commissioners had to wait for me for quite a bit. So I felt a little bit bad. But I did want to open again, and I still really do. And I was thinking, okay, just like accept one or two at a time. Like you can frequently open them, you know, and you know, just roll with it that way. Instead of having a lot of people waiting on you in queue, just do one or two, open again for the same amount, and you know, keep going that way. Currently, the only thing stopping me is making examples. That is the one part I really don't like, because at this point, using my the old examples I had feels unfair, because you know I did improve, you know, since then, and it wouldn't look the same, you know. But then I look at everything that I drew since the last time, and it's all just memes. Well, maybe not all, but like the majority of my art in recent months genuinely has just been memes. Which might be fine for like people that have been following me and have seen the way that my art style progresses, so they have a solid idea of what they would get at the end, right? But if it comes to attracting like new clients, I feel like, at least for that sake, I should have proper examples of you know, what I would offer right now. Especially because I was thinking about doing it on VGen. I've had it for a year now, I think, but never used it, so far at least. And I want to. It's really comfy to use. However, like, especially because it feels more formal there, like, that's even the more reason I want to have like proper examples to show off. I know, maybe I could use like these Voxannes that I'm doing as examples, you know, and just show off a couple of full bodies and say, okay, headshot this much, you know, half body, full body this much, and call it a day. I mean, some people do it that way, and it's honestly still very good, in my opinion. Like, I get a feeling for your style, you get to save time. It's a win-win. So maybe something like that. Oh, that'd be a nice idea, yeah. Do I feel like most people who want to commission you see your art online, so they know how good you are regardless of those examples. Plus, even the memes are pog. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that's mostly how it would work for me. I did have a couple of people just reach out to me on random, like, hey, I know your commissions aren't open right now, but like, do you want to draw this for me? And I'd be like, hell yeah, sure. That's kind of what I did the last couple of times, and it kind of also works. You know, people just come in and ask me like, hey, can I like commission you kind of off the counter? Let's call it that way. And I feel like, or if I feel like I'm available, I'll have enough time to work on it, I'll be like, yeah, sure, buddy, let's go. The only thing in those cases where I feel kind of bad is like in that conversation naming my price. And I do need to update the prices that I have on my card profile, because they are really pretty old. At this point, like, it was a different time with the economy, with the prices that I set there. So I need to at least compensate for that a little bit. But yeah, that's the only part of that conversation where I'm like, oh, am I asking too much? I feel like having, you know, a page with the examples and prices named at the beginning would make it a lot easier. But yeah, I think I could definitely like use these. Well, they're pretty accurate. Like, I can't say I put in 100% of my skills, knowledge, whatever, into them, but I guess it's what I can do fairly quickly and comfortably. So yeah, I think they will work as good examples. Honestly, I feel like Voxanne is doing so much for me these days. I'm grateful to her. Even if she's not technically doing anything, but I feel like it's enough for her to just exist, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. the Voxanne examples, yeah, it would just be a Voxanne showcase. It's like no longer even a showcase of my commissions that I offer, it's just her. Just a showcase for her. You go to a model showcase, but it's just Voxanne? Yeah, I would go there too. Honestly. I don't need anybody else, just her in different outfits or different variations. Hell yeah. A fashion showcase, yeah. I feel like that's kind of what this reference sheet will turn into. Like, I just want to put her in different outfits, costumes, like just a Voxanne variety show. Well, that's not really the right word, but yeah, just a Voxanne fashion show. I feel like that would be banger. The one thing I did also want to study more and improve on, funnily enough, is drawing and shading the knees. Maybe it sounds a little bit silly, but I can always kind of tell when somebody really understands how knees work. Or even if it's just a satisfying shape, even if it's not the most realistic. If this area looks good, I'm like, hell yeah, that's banging. You know. There's just something about it. I always dreaded drawing this part when I was younger, and it always kind of looked wonky, or maybe too anime-y. But I don't know, just adding this little bump here, it's tasty. I have no better word for it, I just like looking at that. Funnily enough, this type of shoe where it's like just a very simple heel, whenever I need to draw it from the front, I get so confused. It just can't get the right shape. Like, technically it's extremely simple. It's basically just boop boop. But it's very hard to nail. Like, for example, Yui does them amazingly. Every single time they look on point. I don't know how she does it, but I feel like it's one of her forte. I love to just look whenever she draws heels, which thankfully is most of the time, honestly. But then, you know, regardless of how many times I see it, whether it's in art or looking up references, anything, like this looks janky to me, but I don't know how else to do it. And I'm gonna once again ignore it and leave it for future me to fix. I think it will work well enough for now. Okay, and also because I myself forgot to do it for the past 2 or so hours, if by any chance anybody is drawing along, please save. If you're like me and forget to do it all the time, please, for the love of God, save. I need to eat, so I have to shoot up, but have fun drawing. Yeah, thank you for stopping in. And thank you for keeping me company for so long, honestly. I really appreciate it. I'm probably not gonna be going on for too much longer. Probably just gonna finish the lines for this one. And, you know, maybe base colors, but we'll see. But yeah, still, thanks for coming in, and I hope you have a good rest. Good night. Good night. I remember thinking before the stream how a lot of people, myself included, like when I listen to them and, you know, whenever somebody comes in or has to leave, we kind of automatically turn to a higher pitched voice, or at least a little bit more of a baby voice. So it was funny, and I actively thought about not doing that myself today. I wanted to be, you know, chill. That chill guy is what I wanted to be today. But it's hard, even if I'm like aware of it. I still, it's like the gratitude kind of takes over, and I just go all soft and baby, and I'm like, yay, thank you. It kind of seeps through. I cannot be chill. It turned into a puddle. I feel like my brain is slowly entering the higher focus mode, and I can't even think of anything much to say. Here I'm just lines. Brain is a goner. I'm happy because at the very least it's productive, and I feel like I did a lot. And once I finish, I can say, okay, that's been about 2.5, 3 hours that I did a lot. And then I know that even outside of drawing, like both with work and just IRL stuff, I managed to finish a lot today, so yippee! It does feel a little bit awkward to say it, you know, when it's not just to myself, but technically there are others listening, but how do you put it? Positive affirmations, right? I'm not really the type to talk to myself when I'm alone. If there's anything I wanna say, quote unquote, or just have some kind of monologue, it's always in my head. I look at people online who are like, you know, having full-on conversations with themselves out loud, or I mean, they just mentioned, of course, but they talk about having conversations out loud just with themselves, or maybe just talking to their pets. And I tried. I tried to maybe talk to my cat, but it always feels awkward. I don't know why. It shouldn't be. Like, I'm by myself, the cat can't understand me, that's for sure. So it should be a lot more free to say whatever. Just say it out loud, but I don't have the habit of it, so it feels awkward, unfortunately. Maybe that's also another habit I should build up or work on. And somehow, I guess streaming gives me a justification to talk to myself about whatever. Like, I'm not saying anything too important, and at this point especially I'm just rambling to fill in, not really the silence, but something to go along with the music. But it's nice to build in the habit. Focus maxing for real? Yeah. Currently I'm a little bit divided between lines and, well, really thinking about what to say. But I've come to realize the moment I start to think about what to say is when it all goes downhill. Because if I think about it, I will question myself and like, oh, is this interesting? Is this funny? Does this contribute anything to the conversation? Like, what am I bringing to the table with the words I'm about to say? And that can be a lot of pressure. Especially if you're trying to leave a good impression on somebody, or if you're meeting folks for the first time. I get stuck in that all too often. And of course, when that happens, I just end up not saying anything. Probably a lot of people can relate to the exact same thing. I'm aware that I'm far from the only person who goes through it, and that a lot of people would probably understand exactly what I'm going through, but I don't really want to say it out loud. So I guess somehow with streaming, I have a justification to just say whatever. It's my own space, and yeah, there's people listening, but it's kind of like my little happy place. I guess I can put it like that. Which actually, now that I think about it, I'm surprised that I said it because of the nervousness that I mentioned before. That I still had, even before this stream. I was freaking it before I started, a little bit less than the first time, but I was definitely not calm. But at this point, you know, even you know, looking at what I'm drawing, just looking at my lines and saying whatever out loud, I'm like, hey, you can actually do that. Like, you're capable of talking about whatever. You know, and I may not have people physically in front of me, but I do see there are people watching and listening in, and I can still yap somehow. I caught myself overthinking it a couple minutes ago, and I went silent for a bit, and I caught myself in that spiral of, oh, I need to say something. Oh, I need a proper train of thought. I need to have a point that I will arrive at the end of this sentence. Like, I'm not allowed to start speaking if I don't know where I will end up at. Which is silly. Because a lot of thoughts that I have just start as, you know, topic A, and I end up on topic J. I imagine that probably sounds very wrong in English, but we do say it often here. Still, it does feel good to yap. Which is genuinely, for me, the biggest discovery of this year regarding myself. Just yapping about anything is fine, honestly. Yeah, I really like to listen to other people when they do it, and just talking out loud or thinking out loud, actually. I like to see and hear where they will arrive at. It doesn't have to be anything too specific, too profound. Just hearing their train of thought is, on its own, already interesting enough. So, honestly, whatever insecurity has been haunting me for years about talking, I want to say not hoping, but instead looking forward to curing it. I don't even want to hope that it happens. I want to say I know it will, and I'm happy to see that day arrive. I can take a little bit of happiness in advance. I think that's okay. As like a little bit of payback for all of the years I was hard on myself, and be like, okay, this is my advance payment on the feeling of achievement I will have once I know that I am good and I know that I have grown. Yeah. It's so silly, I keep thinking about this now. It's the only thought in my head, but as silly as it is, this is something I have been putting off ever since I first came across VTubers, since I first came across Vox. I was so starstruck, not just like with him, but the entire concept of just talking to a whole bunch of people and being able to do that. I wanted it for myself for so long. I really admired it, and I kind of always thought for years and years that it was, how do you put it? I was in a way confident that it could. Like, it was bound to happen at some point. You know, like it was inevitable. But then at the same time, I never actually made that first move to make it happen. I kept putting it off because regardless of how confident, like, how do you put it? I was confident it would happen, but at the same time I was incredibly scared. It's kind of weird and really, really conflicting. I don't know how else to phrase it. But yeah, it was a mix of like baseless overconfidence and a lot of fear. But yeah, I'm happy to see that the confidence I had, even though it was probably still kind of over the top, for where I am now and for how long it took me to just start, I feel a little bit justified for thinking it, because I feel a lot more comfortable than I thought I would be. Yes, I'm still very, very nervous before the stream. But once I start, and given like 10-20 minutes, I'm good. I'm ballin'. Plus you're drawing as well, so some moment of silence is normal, I think. Yeah. I found myself struggling, honestly, a little bit last time. Because, how do I put it? I am pretty used to multitasking because of my work. And you know, for not all of my jobs, but let's see, like 2 out of 3 of them, not counting the position changes in one company. Multitasking is what I had to do. I had to talk to the customers while simultaneously doing something else, like whether it was troubleshooting or writing or whatever, but I had to do multiple things at once. So I could say to some extent, yeah, I'm used to it, I can do it. But somehow with drawing, it's like I can't do it if I'm not looking at it. And I need to not look at it while I'm reading chat. So I was a little bit panic the other day, just trying to keep up with chat and also not stop for too long, because you know, it's not interesting to look at a stream where like nothing is happening. Like, yeah, I may be talking, but I'm not drawing at the same time. So there's technically nothing to look at, I guess. But I do feel a lot better now, honestly. I've come to see that I am able to fill in the silence. Maybe it's because a lot of the streamers that I myself watched, looking at Vox, are genuinely really good at talking a whole lot about anything and everything. So, you know, whatever it is they're doing, they are always talking, and I felt, okay, so I have to do that too. That was also one of the fears, like, oh, I can't compare to that. So I'm not gonna be good enough. And then I go and listen to a stream where somebody's drawing and being silent, and I enjoy it, but I don't connect it to myself. Funnily enough, like I will watch the exact thing I'm afraid of doing myself. Man, now that I'm talking about it, I'm kind of embarrassed of how many contradictions I had. Like so many thoughts that go against one another, but I was so stuck in them. I'm happy that I'm realizing it now and becoming aware of them and being able to laugh at it. Genuinely, in this day and age, a lot of us definitely strive for perfection in a lot of things we do. I think a lot of people feel that there is a competition with, not even like just in the maybe community you're in your field, whatever. It kind of feels like you're constantly in a competition with the rest of the world. Maybe not everybody feels it, but it was kind of the vibe, let's say. And I don't know, I feel like we get stuck in certain trains of thought, and that at this point aren't even just trains, they are spirals constantly. And for example, in my cases, a lot of them contradicting. You know, being able to, you know, say it out loud, become aware of it, and then also being able to laugh at my mistake. I wish it upon a lot of people. Like, I'm genuinely happy, as small as it is, and maybe completely normal for somebody else. Maybe it's something they've known for years. Maybe what I'm saying right now feels like a matter of course and sounds completely logical, and oh, what took you that long to realize? But it was a genuine struggle of mine, and now that I see myself overcoming it real time, it makes me happy. I keep having the urge to say how silly it is, but I'm genuinely happy to really to get to know this part of myself, and how silly that it took starting to stream to realize it. And I could have realized it years ago if I just started right away. And yet on the other hand, I'm too happy to be stuck on the what ifs or should haves or anything like that. It's a good feeling. I think even streamers that stream for a while now are still nervous. Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's definitely a big hurdle to overcome. And Vox is an expert yapper? Yes. We often used to joke about one of our dogs at home. It was a small, I think it was a mix of a Chihuahua and a Pinch. Basically, a really small dog that would not stop to eat. And we would joke about just putting him in a tub, like a bathtub full of dog food, and see how far he goes. You know, and we joke that he will go until he explodes. I want to somehow correlate that with the amount of yapping that Vox is able to do. Because if given the chance, I feel like his batteries would just not run out until pure exhaustion, like from lack of sleep, took him. I think he could keep going. Sometimes trying things for the first time makes you learn things about yourself. Like today, yeah, exactly. And that it's it's not a foreign concept to me. And how do you put it? It let me think of the words properly. It's like I was aware of it for so many different things, but for some reason, and I don't know why, streaming felt different for me. Like, again, even with that confidence that, oh, it's gonna happen someday, it felt more like daydreaming, I guess. But yeah, for some reason I just kept being scared of it. Alas, here I am today. And yeah, for sure I'm gonna still be nervous about starting the stream, because every single time, and I guarantee this, I'm gonna think, oh my god, I'm not sure what I'm gonna be talking about. Like, I already talked so much last time, I'm all out of topics to talk about. I'm done, I'm cooked, I have nothing else in my head, I have nothing planned. That's the thing, I have nothing planned. Because I'm the sort of person that I need to know what happens. I need to know what is the plan, what I'm gonna do. I have to know what happens. Like, for example, I wanted to try dancing for a long while, but I felt like if I don't have a choreography ahead of time, I would not be able to freestyle it. I would freeze and perish. Like, no choreography, I'm just gonna die. Kind of like that. Like, if I don't have a plan for XYZ, for whatever, I can't do it. That was kind of the conviction. And then, coming on stream and realizing, yeah, I can say quite a bit actually. Let's go. It's fun and good to know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even in his sleep he talks. Yeah, I am amazed. The funniest part for me is that he says something so incomprehensible that I can't even remember what he said. Currently, the only thing in my head is the balls of the contraption. For some reason, that specifically stuck with me. But yeah, I'm curious what the hell goes on inside his head. Probably a lot of things at once, to be fair. But like, I wish I could have access to his thoughts for one day. Actually, scratch that, for 2 days. One day when he's streaming and one day when he's not. So I can see what he's thinking about when he's talking to us, and then when he's free. Like, what happens in that noggin? I would love to know. I think so too, yeah. I need... If I can't, like, actually listen to the thoughts, that's not an if. That is a definitely I cannot listen to the thoughts, but I wish I could just have maybe just cliff notes of what the hell is going on in there. That'll be fun. Okay, I am probably going to go silent for this part because it always trips me up. Okay. Think like this. Then over and here, I think. This will go over. Laces can look so good when they're done right, but god, they take a lot of brain energy to do properly. Close there. Behind. Okay. I mean, I could just not torture myself with this, but where's the fun in that? Still look good from afar. Not really. Okay. Never mind, I'm just gonna keep it simple. Fuck it. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I know, I'll look up to a lot of artists who can add a lot of details and a lot of thought. Especially like in how clothes work, for example, folds or any sort of technicality, really. But it takes a lot of brain power I don't currently have. So we're gonna keep it simple. Although I do want to get to the level one day where it becomes so much of a habit that I don't have to actively think about it. I just know how it works. And you know, I can keep going really easily. You know, I think that would be a good goal. Beautiful corset, thank you. It's kind of simple. Wait, let me look at her old one. I mean old, the official one, to be fair. I keep the screenshots of the sim stream of all of their outfits. Let me see what this is. Oh, yeah. But I feel like if I did the same kind of corset, it might not really fit with this outfit. Okay, let me add a little bit more. Just a bit more. And by more, I mean like 2 more lines, but hey. We take those. Sometimes even that can go genuinely a really long way. Yeah, I think I can keep it like this. And again, if future me doesn't like it, well, she can fix it. Not my problem anymore. Also very much biased towards rings on the index finger. They look really neat. Again, reminder, if anybody else has been drawing, please save. It's been a while. Probably just gonna keep doing that. Funnily enough, I wanted to finish up the stream somewhere around here, but now, because I've run out of topics to talk, I feel like ending the stream would just be running away from the quote-unquote awkward silence. Awkward in my head, at least. And now I don't want to let myself finish the stream, because I would be feeling like I'm running away. And spite in my head is a very powerful thing. At the end of the day, it's just really silly, but I don't know. On the other hand, pushing myself from time to time, it's not too bad. Voxanne slaying right now? Yeah. Yeah. That's our baby girl. As much as I like the main focus and the main reason why I wanted to do this in the first place is because I wanted to make her a lot more girl fail. Just for funsies, you know, for shits and giggles. I cannot deny her the girl bossiness. So I'm glad that she's slaying. I wasn't too sure about what to do with her hair for this one, but I feel like just having a hair that is this long, but at the same time like well managed and straight and tidy, is a flex all on its own. So at the end of the day, I think that would be the best route. And then somewhere on the side, I'm probably going to do a couple of headshots or maybe busts with different hairstyles. And those will be just for funsies. Wrong layer again. Jesus. Oh well. At this point, I'm just gonna combine them. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now. Like the expression says, the more the merrier. Hell yeah. You get it. I really, really want to make many of her. I love the way we have a lot of versions for Vox, both official and unofficial, just what other kindred have created. I really like that, so I want to give her the same treatment. Okay, yeah, now important decision. Where did I keep that brush is the question. Is this? Yeah. Whoop. No. Oh my god. No. Where am I? Oh god, I have too many brushes at this point. Jesus Christ. Just want fishnets, please. Okay, fuck it. Manually it is. Hika, hello back. Overwatch banned bad, so I'm gonna try and draw gaze for the week. Yes! Yes! Listen, I'm so sorry about your Overwatch. But if that's what it took to get you to draw the gaze, I'm happy. I'm sorry, but I'm extremely biased. Maybe Overwatch is telling you like, okay, first draw and then game. You know? You need to fill out the you need to fill out the gay quota before before playing. That kind of sounds wrong, but I mean it in a wholesome way. Okay, so there's that, and then this, and then no. I don't really know if I want to give her fishnets or stockings, or honestly neither one maybe. I'm not the biggest fan of fishnets a lot of the times. It depends on the outfit. Sometimes they can be a nice detail, like peeking through pants that have been cut, or maybe like when it's around this area, when the pants are a low cut and then there's you know, the top of the fishnet stockings just gelling here up top. That can be very sexy. But when it's this much leg and then fishnets over it, not the biggest fan. Like on one hand I want to respect the the original iconic design, but on the other hand I'm like, I'm personally biased against it. So I don't wanna. I'll see if I can come up with a compromise maybe. I'll try and think of something. For real, it was a signal? I forgot how to even start. No! I guess I'll just copy something from Pinterest. Honestly, yeah. Whenever I don't know what to do, either copying, sometimes even like tracing. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna say it. Even tracing sometimes genuinely feels good. I'm never going to post it or claim it as my own, like nothing of the sort. But just feeling how somebody else draws can motivate me a lot, genuinely. It can be also good practice. Maybe I want to say when done in moderation, because you do also have to draw on your own to properly learn something, but still, it puts me in the right headspace to afterwards work on something of my own. So, you know, usually tracing bad, unless for private practice reasons. That is later never, you know, shown off. My grammar. Oh god. My speaking is failing me. But yeah, basically for practice purposes, I'm like, go wild. It works for me, so. I love fishnets. Yeah, I want to agree, I really want to agree with you, but for me it's very specific for when I like them. I'm a little bit picky with them. Or maybe it's just because I myself don't really know how to incorporate them nicely. So maybe that's what's holding me back, but might also just be preference. Oh, Kampiri, hello! Hello! I've been hiding, but I really wanted to say that I love your Vox. And art in general. So crisp, thank you! Thank you! First, thank you for being here at all. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad. I've been having a lot of fun with this. So yeah, I'm glad, even though this is technically just very self-indulgent. You know, I'm kind of going off on my own and just drawing whatever I like, even though she already has a design. Even though it's not like official or set in stone, it is technically what Vox made on Sims, and it's been widely accepted as her. So yeah, even if this is just, I don't know if selfish is the right word, but definitely self-indulgent, it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad to see that other people like it as well. It's definitely a confidence boost. M Young, can you do bippity boppity boo on me to turn me into Balto? What is Balto? Wait, do I need to Google it? Wait. The wolf from the movie? Wait, was he a wolf? I think he was. Alaskan Husky, yay. I mean, if you wanna, who am I to stop you? Like, bippity boppity boo, my man. Go forth, be happy. If a bippity boppity boo for me gets you there, hell yeah, I'm all in. Voxanne is beautiful in any shape that she is drawn. Hell yeah, hard agree. Hard agree. And especially for that reason, she should be drawn in as many forms as possible. Just because. Okay, I think I'm gonna slap down the base colors and probably call it a night there. My hand is slowly but surely getting a little bit tired, but you know, just a little bit more. Just one more hit, man. That's basically how how my mind takes it. And I said it was gonna be a short one, yet it goes longer than the previous stream. Nice. And I really like this playlist. It's so chill, so comfy. And again, I do have it listed in the description if anybody wants to just listen to that. Highly recommend it. I should probably check out what else they have on their channel. But for now, I'm severely vibing with this one. Short stream indeed. Yeah. About that. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised, honestly. But yeah, as I mentioned, on one hand, I mean, okay, to be fair, I said probably a short because I do have some stuff to do. Because the guys from the moving company will be coming tomorrow and I need to clean out a little bit more space. Well, not really from the moving company, but they'll be bringing in the furniture that we got. So technically that's what I should be doing. And why I said, yeah, probably short, but I'm genuinely having a lot of fun and I feel the productivity in my bones. So I don't want to stop. And yeah, also the thought of, oh, if I stop once I'm out of ideas to talk about, then I'm running away. Which is silly, but even though it's silly, it keeps me going. Oh, I'm stupid. There we go. Yeah. It's hard to stop something when you're having fun doing it, that's for sure. Yep. Yep. I need to take a moment to just appreciate that I'm having fun doing this. Man, something that scared me for so long, and now I'm here, fully just enjoying it. Hell yeah. Right, that's one down. And yeah, just gonna finish up the base colors on the third one. And I think that will be a wrap for the night. Like, as much willpower I had to to continue lining, I do not have it for coloring. I don't have the capacity for that. I love the expressions you gave her. I'm glad. I'm glad. Another thing I wanted to do, like a bit more range. Oops. I really want her to have I need to see her with more of a how do you put it, the shit-eating grin. Maybe these don't really convey it all that well, but it kind of give me this space to do it in the future, because like a Voxanne that looks like one of these and just giving you that little smirk. Yes, I need that. Again, completely self-indulgent, but you know. I love line work, but coloring, I get so impatient. Yeah, like I have a pretty clear idea or like a roadmap on what I want to do, but it takes effort, it takes time, and figuring out the placement of shadows, oh, it's pain. I know there's people who prefer coloring the most, and genuinely hats off to you guys. Couldn't be me. I feel like actually, now that I think about it, lining might be the most fun part, at least for me, because I don't know, sketching can be fun, but only if it's going well. If I'm struggling even a little bit to figure out maybe the placement or anything, or the anatomy, then that also becomes a struggle. But then when lining, I basically have maybe not everything, but 90% of everything just figured out. So I can just shut my brain off and line to my heart's content without thinking too much on it. I think that's the most comfortable part about the drawing process for me. Which is funny because when I think about my younger self, I hated lining back then. It felt really tedious. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to be oh so free and just color away whatever. Look at me now. So true, I work with a lot of weight when I line, so I do have to think a bit when I do it. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Actually, now that I think about it, that might just be the reason why I didn't enjoy it before. Yeah, now like when I think back on the pens that I used, they were usually more like this. You know, weighted, exactly. And then this one that I'm currently using, like, yes, it can have weight, I can press down on it, but it doesn't have too much of a gradient. It's mostly just gonna be, you know, the same thing all throughout, and I love it for it. I guess it's a double-edged sword to some extent, because it can make the art look flatter. But I really admire the artists that use flat pens like this, but their art still has, how do you put it, a lot of motion, or at least the feeling of motion in it. I did see it even before this. However, what convinced me most to start using these flat lines of flat brushes was actually Ethan Becker's. He had a little bit of a, well, not a little bit, but quite a boom with his videos a while ago, and I was watching them quite a lot. And I really liked his advice on, you know, whenever you're sketching, or, well, mostly with sketching, I guess, but to basically not use weighted lines at that point, because you can sometimes get lost in that feeling of it. But then when you're using flat brushes like this, you can kind of just focus on the technicality of it. For me, just me personally, because I can really get lost in the feeling of a brush, this was a huge help, genuinely, because I no longer think about the weight. Like, I'll just manually add a little bit, like for example this. It's nothing, to be fair. Like, there's barely anything, or a little bit here, this around the neck. But it's so minimal, it doesn't take out a lot from me, and just for that, it makes it a lot easier, or not easier, yes, easier, but also faster, because otherwise I tend to get really slow with it. So that works for me, at least. I do sometimes miss the feeling of actual proper weight behind my brush. I feel like it might, you know, look livelier. But I know that this is more efficient, and at this point I'm comfortable with it. It really depends on what you're drawing, in my opinion. Yeah, that's also true. It's also true. I feel like if I want to be more flowy, this kind of flat brush kind of kills it. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it just really depends on people's preferences. Like, there's no right or wrong with something like this. It's just what makes you feel good when you're drawing, what feels satisfying, what is easy and comfortable, and yeah, just follow that. You know, I could like rant and rave about something that's amazing for me, and I have maybe better speed with it, it works great, but it doesn't really matter if it doesn't work for the other person. They're just a different type and different things work for them. That's perfectly fine. I have seen quite a number of times folks using different methods that are like I cannot comprehend them. Like, how do they do it that way? Why do they do it that way? You know, when I imagine myself doing it like that, it feels extremely uncomfortable. But you know, like, who am I to tell them, oh no, that's wrong or whatever? Like, they're clearly creating something amazing with that method. You know, they're making something that makes them happy, so man, go for it. True, yeah. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna call it here. I feel like I do have technically the energy to also line this last one. But since I know I'm going to be changing things up, like as much as I love the open shoulders and the open booba, it doesn't really work. So yeah, I'm gonna redo that off stream, you know, once I'm settled on something that I want to do, and then finish her up next time. I think that would be best. Yeah. Alright, I mean, at the end of the day, this is, well, under 3.5 hours, and I lined 2 full bodies and have the base colors down, so I will give myself props for that. I think I did good. I'll pat myself on the back for it. I don't want to let the voices of, oh, it doesn't look as good, it's just flat, give it more pizzazz. Like, if I know I'm gonna rework it later, it doesn't really have a point. So yeah, I'm gonna finish it there. Yay! Yeah! But yeah, I'm happy with the progress for today. I think, at least for these that are left, hopefully I can finish them in one more stream. Maybe I can do the lines for the last one off stream and then just do coloring next time, because I also don't want to do too many streams of just the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I'm probably gonna line the last one off stream. Maybe tomorrow I can take a little break from streaming, finish that offline, and then Thursday or Friday I'll see how much time I have and just color all of them at that point. I think that would be good, especially because the first one, a good chunk of it I had to color offline so I could focus on line today. So yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna be the plan for going forward. And then also at some point just adding more headshots. I'll see what I can do about the tattoos. I'll see if I can find a way to stream those as well, because the placement I have in mind is not for YouTube. But we'll see how that goes. Oh, baby, thank you! Thank you for being here. Buggies! And looking forward to the next one. Thank you! Thank you all really for keeping me company and listening to my yapping. Surprisingly kind of endless. But yeah, I'm glad that even during this little silly stream I could find something new about myself and just be happy about it. Alright, thank you everybody again for being here, for keeping me company. And yeah, most likely gonna be taking a break tomorrow and probably again streaming on Thursday. But yeah, happy time zones. Hope you have a good rest of your morning, day, evening, middle of the night, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, thanks for keeping me company. Alright, bye bye.